Okay, here we are in SketchUp. We're in the home screen. We've got a new blank workspace here. We're going to be drawing a picture frame, just like the picture frame we would be making out of wood in class. All right, we're going to start. We're going to do a 3D model of that using SketchUp. I'll show you how easy that is. When we start SketchUp, we have our little figure here just to give us perspective as to what we are drawing and how we're rotating. If you look down at the bottom of this left-hand toolbar here, this is the rotate tool, or the orbit tool it's called. This is just for your viewpoint and how you're seeing your object in the window. This is not for moving objects around. This is just orbit, where we can kind of move around, pan around, okay, and get a better viewpoint. So we're going to go here. Here's the select tool. I'm going to grab the select tool, and I'm going to just click on this guy so he's highlighted blue, and hit backspace or delete to get rid of him because we don't want him in place. We're going to start our drawings where I suggest you start all your drawings, and that's at the origin. And if I grab a tool, a drawing tool, what we're going to do here is going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to grab my rectangle drawing tool. I'm going to hover that tool right over the origin where all these red, green, and blue axes meet. And it's going to snap to it and say origin. So now I know I'm definitely starting at the origin. All right. That's where it makes it very convenient to start a lot of drawings. So I'm going to click once and let go of the mouse button or the trackpad button. I'm not going to hold the button down. I'm just going to click once, and I'm going to drag out this rectangle here. Okay. If you look to the lower right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see where it says dimensions. And as I move, you see the dimensions change. All right, so it's telling me how big that rectangle is. All right, so I'm going to tell it to draw a rectangle because I already know the size. All right, the size for our frame project is going to be 12 inches wide by 9.5 inches high. Okay, so when I look at the dimension window, I'm just going to type in 12 with a comma and then a space, and then 9 with a space, and then a 1 backslash half or backslash 2. So that would give me 9.5. And if I hit enter, now I get a 12 by 9.5 inch rectangle. It looks very small here, so we can zoom in, and that would be either 2 fingers on your trackpad, or I use a scroll wheel on a mouse. I scroll in. All right, I'm going to get a better viewpoint here. I'm going to grab my orbit tool again just to orbit around. And if I hit the shift button and hold it down while I'm using orbit, I get the hand, and the hand can pull and push things all around the viewpoint. It's always good to have it right in the middle so you have a good view of what you're working on. All right, and I'll just shift this over. Okay, so now we have the outside perimeter of our frame. So for our frame that we make in the shop, the first frame we make each piece 2.5 inches wide, or the border of the frame is 2.5 inches wide. Remember in Jamboard, we just drew lines. There's an easier way to do this in SketchUp. If we go to our menu bar over here, and we go where the push-pull tool usually is, but this one is called offset. If we go to the offset tool and click on that, it'll give us this little square on the edge. Again, I'm just going to click once. Don't hold the button down. Just click once, and then I can drag basically any dimension, border, or offset here on our frame that I want. But I'm going to type it in because I know what my border is, and I'm going to type in 2 and 1/2, which give me 2.5. But I can also do 2.5 if you want to do decimals, but 2.5 would give me a border of 2.5 all the way around. Okay, so now I have a frame with a border at 2.5. I don't need this middle part. I'm just going to grab my select tool, select the middle, hit backspace or delete, and now the middle is gone. All right, so this is just a flat 2-dimensional representation of our frame. All right, this is our starting point. So for our frame that we do in class, I do a combination of butt joints and miter joints, just so you guys get a good understanding of both and how to cut both and work with them. All right, so I'm going to draw the first piece of the project here. I'm going to draw, grabbing my pencil or my line tool, click on here, grab this first one. This draws straight lines only. So So I'm going to take this, put it up in this upper left-hand corner. It will snap to the end point if I leave it there, so that I know that it's snapping to that corner. I'm starting exactly where I want. I click once, let go. You'll see that the line comes here. If I bring it to the other end point, it snaps to that end point, which is very convenient, and then I can click again, and that gives me one line there. Okay, that's my one miter cut here. All right, here I'm going to do a butt joint. I'm just going to do a straight cut. I'm not going to do the angle. I'm going to do from the end point. I'm going to click on it once, and I'm going to drag it down. Now you'll see the line is green. The reason the line is green is because you see this line up here, this axis that we started along, right, is parallel. Right here, this green line is parallel. If I get a green line here, I know my line is parallel to that axis too, which is what I want. A nice straight line. I get right to the edge, and I click again, and now that's my first piece of the project there. I'm cutting one miter joint here and one butt joint here for the frame. Okay, so what would this piece look like if we cut it? All right, well, I'm going to go over to my tools. I'm going to go grab my push-pull tool. It's a very common tool we're going to use, push-pull. Click on it once. And now when I bring it over, I would like to draw your attention to the lower left-hand corner menu down here. There's different options when you do Shift and Control. This tells you the different options. I'm going to hit Control while I put it over the top here, and you're going to see that I get a little plus sign on my icon. This means I'm going to basically drag out a new face, okay? If I don't hit Control, I'm going to hit Control again, and I'm going to show you what happens. I just don't have the plus sign on my icon, and I click on this, and I bring this out, and I'm going to type in 3/4, 3/4, okay? It looks fine at this angle, right? It looks like we just made a piece of wood that's 3/4 of an inch thick. But if I rotate and look underneath my model, it's hollow under here, okay? That's not what I want. I want a good 3D model. All it did was pull up one face, okay? So I'm going to hit undo for that. So I get back to where it was. I'm going to go back to my push-pull tool, all right? Click on the Control key so that I get that plus sign, all right? Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click 3/4, okay? You see it's a different color now. And to show you the difference now, I'm going to rotate underneath. Now you see it's a solid piece, okay? That's what we want, and that's what we're going to do for all our pieces here on our frame. All right, so we're going to move along and continue on and make the rest of our frame here, all right? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a combination of miter joints and butt joints. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to grab my pencil tool again, the line tool, all right? I'm going to go at the opposite corner of this other miter here, let it snap to the end point, click once, let it go, and just drag it to the other end point. When it says end point, click again, and I get my other miter cut, okay? Here I'm going to do the butt joint cut. Click on endpoint, go straight up. Again, I got my green line. I know I'm parallel to my other axes, my other edge of the frame, and I'm going to click again. So I've got another butt joint cut here. Now I want to point out something to you guys, why I do this frame this way. If you look at this piece we did in 3D here, okay, this frame is made up of 4 identical pieces, okay? Each side is the same. It has one angled cut and one straight cut, okay? I'll show you again. If we do the push-pull tool, and I grab my push-pull tool, all right, I have to hit my Control key so I get the plus sign, and I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to type in 3/4 of an inch in the dimensions, so 3/4, okay? You'll see these two pieces are the same, okay? I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to drag this up and type in 3/4 for 3/4 of an inch. This piece is the same. And I'm going to do the same thing here to complete my frame, 3/4, and that piece is the same. So when we're in the shop and I give you a piece of wood, you're going to go to the miter saw and we're going to create 4 identical pieces. And I'll show you how to do that. There's some techniques to do that. But that's how we are completing our frame, by making 4 identical pieces. And we have a combination of miters and butt joints. Normally, you would do either all miters or all butt joints. There's not really a rule, but it's just more consistent that way. This is the way I'm showing you guys, just more of like a teaching tool to kind of show you both ways to do it. All right. But this would be our frame. And this is our frame in 3D with the 4 different pieces of wood to complete that frame. Okay, so this is where we're going to stop right now for part 1. We've got the basic frame laid out. All right. Just want you to make sure you go up to your menu, upper left-hand corner, go in here, and I would do save as and give it a name like frame 1 or just frame drawing. Okay. Frame drawing 1, whatever. But enter a model name, make sure you save it, and it's going to ask you where you need to save it. I would save it in your Google Drive. There should be a SketchUp folder. I have a SketchUp folder in mine. I click there and I hit select, and now my frame will be there. Okay, and when I come up to my home screen, I'll be able to select this frame next time I start the video. All right, so look out for part 2. We'll do a little more work on here, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.